so I'm James, co-founder of Appetite, co-founder with my identical brother. Appetite is, we like to say we're redefining how the consumers interact with the hospitality industry and how they go about discovering and booking their favourite restaurants.
And I'm Leo. I obviously work for Kontor. James and I work together quite closely in securing James an office, which you can hopefully see in the background about 6 months ago.
Are people working behind me?
Yeah.
I guess so. Let's hope.
Looks like it.
How did I first hear about Kontor? I think I was doing some Google searches. I had some bad experiences in the past with other brokers, firms, however you want to put it. Came across Kontor and I wrote a message, and within 30 seconds I got a reply back from what felt like a human, and it was Leo. And it felt just very reassuring to actually have someone on the other side replying to me straight away with great ideas. I kind of felt that this was the way to do it.
It was weird because it was quite quick, wasn't it? In terms of, I know it was like a 1 minute after you put the inquiry in call, but everything happened quite quickly in terms of, I think we were out like 3 or 4 days afterwards.
Yeah, within I think 20 minutes you sent me some options. I kind of grabbed at them. I'm very impulsive. And Leo was like, hold on a second, let's look around. Yeah. And we took maybe 2 or 3 days. Yeah. And then we were out on the streets.
Those days were Saturday and Sunday, weren't they? Yeah. It was the Monday. But no, it seems to work pretty quickly. I think we aligned quite quickly on what you wanted. Yeah. Especially after the first couple of tours.
Well, there are a few things that really drew me to Kontor. I think it was the friendly nature. I wanted to feel reassured that whoever I was dealing with was actually going to find me what I wanted. And I think it was the fact that it wasn't a work relationship, even though we didn't know each other. It was more like, I'm going to help you, I really want to help you type thing. Yeah. So I kind of feel it was that drew me into Kontor, because everyone can kind of say they do the same thing. Everyone's going to promise you they're going to find you an office, right? So when you've got someone there who actually really does want to help and see you fit in somewhere and find that place for you, it really does make that difference. And that's the element that really drew me in, as I said.
I think it helped you a Spurs fan straight away.
Tottenham fans.
So that instant bonding over how frustrating it is constantly.
We were like Kulusevski and Son.
It's a good duo. But no, I think that first chat, and I think even from your side, because I think it worked both ways in the sense of, even if you're coming to us, we've got to kind of do the same back to you, because we've got to like you probably to work with you as well. So I think that relationship that built quite quickly helps quite a lot as well.
I think so.
You got a good deal in your first office, did you?
Yeah, we had a good deal in our first office. We weren't paying much. We were in Mayfair and we didn't feel it was very start-uppy. We were actually in one of our investors' buildings and we camped out on the top floor, and it was all great. But our team was growing, we needed a bigger space, and we felt that we wanted to be somewhere a bit younger, a bit cooler, a bit trendier, around the restaurants, or the cooler restaurants, let's say. And we wanted something a bit more modern, something that really suited our personalities, a lot of light.
How do you find Shoreditch in comparison to Mayfair? Because obviously they're two very different places.
Very different people.
Yeah,
I mean, I kind of feel if you don't have blue hair, you kind of don't fit in here. But I think we fit in quite well. I'm thinking of dyeing my hair blue.
I would be all for it, absolutely.
I fit right in. Yeah, I would fit right in, but I definitely feel that we feel much more at home here, and it suits the office dynamic a lot more. So I'm much happier here, and I really think the team are much happier here as well.
I think there's a certain sort of stature you get with being Mayfair. Obviously Mayfair, you can tell everyone in Mayfair, but if you're, especially a growing team, I think you guys did quite well in taking an office that you were growing into as well.
Exactly.
So you kind of knew that in the 18 months to 2 years time, we're going to be probably double what we are now. So doubling your space in Mayfair is going to be a lot tougher and a lot more expensive than doubling your space in Shoreditch as well.
100%. And I think cost-wise, I mean, for our employees, Shoreditch is just a better area, better things to eat at lunch, cheaper. Obviously, we're very near 2 different stations. So all in all, it just works a lot better for us.
You managed to get a parking space here as well.
And a parking space. I managed to get that one thrown in.
That was a good one.
Good negotiator.
Thank you.
When I first spoke to Leo, I didn't know where I wanted to be. I knew I wanted to be kind of central London, right? Ish. So central London-ish. But I didn't care where. I just wanted somewhere that was very light and modern and new and open plan. And Leo sent options in both Fitzrovia and Shoreditch and a few other places I think as well. And I didn't want to be in a serviced office. I really wanted to have our own office with the option of having services type thing. Those were my main requirements, but location for me I wasn't dead set on Shoreditch or Hoxton. So I was kind of open, and Leo sent 15 different options and I was looking at which one had the most light. And then
it's a good way to start. You know? Do you think you were more set on an area because of the convenience of where it is, or because of the general vibe of the area?
I think it's more the vibe and the vibe of the space. Because the area is fine as long as it's got good transport links and it's easy enough for employees to get in. The area for me wasn't as important as the vibe in the office, and that will obviously provide a good team environment.
Do you think as you grow up as a company, obviously you're very early stages in what you do, well, relatively speaking, how you should be doing it. Do you think Shoreditch will be one of those places you end up staying, or do you think you'll grow up and grow out of it, or if you were to guess in like 2-3 years time?
Ask me to tell the future.
Put you on the spot.
What am I going to say? No, I think that it works very well. So as long as the type of employees that we hire remain the same, which I imagine they will, I feel like Shoreditch in this area will be a place where we call home.
Yeah,
so that's exciting. And I'd never been to Shoreditch before having an office space.
It's a good area. It's good pubs.
I was in Mayfair.
I know, it's a very different world.
My co-founder, my brother.
What's it like when your co-founders with a twin brother and trying to find something? Do you have the same taste or the same style?
So we are twins, but we're actually triplets. I've got a sister, I would just say. She'd kill me if she saw this and didn't realise it. So I'm a triplet, but I co-founded with my brother, and he kept saying, he's got 2 dogs. He kept saying that I need to be able to bring the dogs to work, I need a parking. I don't want to go to Shoreditch, too far. So if we can guarantee a parking space in Shoreditch, would you move there? And he'd seen pictures of this office and he loved it. He said, yes, but you definitely won't be able to get a parking phone. And I said to Leo, okay, we're going to take it as long as you get us a parking. And 24 hours later, we had a parking. So
that was a scary.
That was me convincing him.
I'll be honest. That was scary. It's one of, I think, especially going back to the point of being here as opposed to like central London, trying to find a parking space in central London, it's going to cost you half the price of the offices.
Yeah.
So to get it thrown in here, as much as I'd have to take all the credit for it, it was one of those things that just all seemed to align.
Yeah, it fit into place quite nicely.
Definitely.
So that was it definitely was convincing Toby, but the parking space did it. So it wasn't too hard. I don't want to make this sound cliche and say like, no, I had nothing and it doesn't come across as truthful. But I really am saying no, I didn't. I said I gave Leo a time frame of when I wanted this completed by, and everything on his side was done really smoothly, and I really had to do very little, even down to the contracts. I said I'll have my lawyer look over it, and Leo said we'll kind of take care of that for you, and anything that might be an issue we'll raise to you. And I had full trust, and as I said at the very beginning, it felt weird, but I did know that Kontor and Leo were going to deliver, and when he raised that thing about the contract, I kind of felt that I could trust him and he would deliver on that. So no, I didn't have any issues necessarily, and it was easy. It really was easy, and we walked in here and was ready to go. So yeah, I can't say I did.
I think it's one of those things, again, it kind of goes both ways in the sense that when you work with a client who's maybe is quite receptive to sometimes things are going to go wrong when there's going to be little bumps in the road. But I think when you accept that's going to happen, like it is in every transaction, it doesn't feel like a massive pain point because you know they're going to come at some point. But I think 95% of the time you can overcome them. Yeah. Like the parking space, for example. Yeah. If that wasn't there, then we would have had an issue. But knowing that if that wasn't there, we're going to have to go back to square one. Exactly. Sometimes quite frustrating. But from my side of the word, it didn't feel particularly difficult. It felt like quite a smooth transaction, but that goes back to you guys kind of being quite receptive as well.
Yeah. I think looking back on it, I mean, the only thing we had was putting a partition wall in the meeting rooms, and that was probably the biggest pain point we had. Yeah. Apart from that, there was just timings, and they really took their time with it. This was one meeting room, and we needed 2, and that was also part of the deal, and that maybe took slightly longer than we'd expected, but
I know people can't see it now, but this meter is now got paint in the table.
Yeah. It's actually taking place at the peak.
It's actually taking place at the
We'll play after.
We will. We'll have it.
We'll record it as well for this.
No, we won't. Oh, depends if I win or not.
Well, I feel our brand is somewhat modern, fun, young, cool. It's quite engaging. And I wanted the office to really feel the same. So open plan, bright. Just when you come in here, just a really good vibe, and a vibe that you can see that's quite cohesive and everyone's getting along and people not in corners and at their own desks and things like that. And I kind of feel like when you do walk in here, we've got 2 big banks of desks. You can see everyone working collaboratively, which is very important for us. Mm-hmm. So it was that atmosphere and that sense of cohesion that we really wanted to create in a space where people wanted to be. Because if they don't want to be here, they're going to go work somewhere where they can work remotely. And that's not something we believe in. So we're going to ask people to come to the office 4 days a week. Mm-hmm. We need a space that they'll love. So that was important to us.
Do you find it quite easy to get people in then to the office?
Yeah, I mean, no complaints. Yeah. Really no complaints.
I think it's one of those things that we see as well is that if you ask people to come to the office, it just doesn't work. You've kind of just give them an office to go into. Yeah. And especially in an environment where like traveling is really expensive at the moment and like getting in and out of London and buying food and stuff. If you can save money from working at home, then a lot of people will do it. But then if you actually actively want to go in there, I think it makes a massive difference. And I can see you've got a big table of snacks over there as well.
Yeah, it's the food. I always thought it was the founders they were coming for, but I guess it's the office.
you can still say that. You can still say that, it's fine.
Both.
When the dogs came in.
The dogs were in here day one, so it kind of felt very homely. Kind of as we walked in, we put a few appetite signs up, had the music on, lit a candle, which we like to do, make it feel very homely. Yeah. And it really felt like my living room.
I suppose it kind of, I think especially being in a managed space as opposed to in a service building with lots of other people, it does just feel like it feels like you're in a building, and especially when you're coming from, say, an investor's building where they told you where you're going, it's not really your choice. And you've come somewhere, you've actually gone through the process of choosing, and you've designed certain aspects of the space, and obviously the breakout space that is kind of over in that direction as well. I suppose when you've created it like yourself, it makes it feel more homely.
It does, makes a difference. Yeah, I'm also an interior designer, so I did this place beautifully. So if you ever get a chance to see it, you'd actually be shocked as to what's behind me that you can't see.
It is great. Give it 10 out of 10.
It makes me emotional when I come in here each morning. What did we want? We wanted somewhere that had good transport connections, somewhere that people wanted to be, and somewhere that allowed us to work collaboratively. So we just wanted an open space. I've said that a few times, but really did just want somewhere, some place, somewhere, anywhere it could have been, ended up being here, that allowed us to work collaboratively and move around from desk to desk and talk to each other and just really work in a cohesive environment.
Did that change from like before we spoke and then after we spoke? Were they always the 3 core things? Did they change as you went and saw more stuff?
I kind of feel that was always what we wanted.
The bare bones of everything.
It's we're a young team. We didn't want to be in some place that just didn't feel right, and I kind of feel those things just felt right to us. Mm-hmm. So I think that's what we wanted, and that's what you were showing me anyway. So it just worked for us.
Snacks.
Depends which day of the week I ask them.
That's true.
Sometimes they'll just complain.
If it's a Thursday,
they're going to watch this and going to be like, we don't complain. No, what do they love? The snacks on the table, they love that.
Ping pong table.
Ping pong table, albeit it's new.
Yeah.
They love the Wii, Nintendo Wii.
You've got a Nintendo Wii?
Yeah, it's best. She's a maestro on it.
Got you, okay.
Yeah, she's an Arsenal fan, so we didn't talk. I think just the general atmosphere of the place, they're like.
It's good out. It's very relaxed. Like out of camera, there's sofas in the corner where people are pretty relaxing but kind of working at the same time.
Let's not say it's that relaxed in case one of less.
It's not that relaxed.
We do work, but it's quite relaxed. I didn't want somewhere that felt dark or just the vibe. I mean, I say it like it's just simple, but it's not. Just something that felt right. So it's not something that I didn't want, but it's just to find something that felt right for us.
And you never, we looked at a couple of ones that were maybe a bit more corporate and viewers lasted all 5 minutes.
Exactly.
So I think it was quite apparent from the start what I was going to be, and that was like the only thing that you were very against was anything that was too
Exactly right.
suit and tie.
Yeah, it's not for us. Our hybrid working is 4 days in the office, 1 day from home. So I don't know if our employees would actually call that hybrid working, although I think it's very fair.
Is that a choice of like what day you work from home, or is that
no? It's a Friday from home, Monday, Thursday in the office. I think it works very well for us. I'm a huge believer in office work. I don't understand remote working as much. I feel that you don't get that collaborative environment. If you work for a big corporate, then maybe, because you don't really talk to anyone in the office anyway. So I kind of get it, but in a fast-paced startup scale-up atmosphere, I think it's a non-negotiable, and it's a mindset that we've always put in place. And people really love it. And as I said, if you put them in an environment that they enjoy being in, I think it's not really a conversation that you even need to have, and it becomes the norm. And this was only not the norm during Corona, and that was a period in our lives, and we just went back to what I view as the norm. So it wasn't a question for me. And I'd say there's too many highlights.
That's a good answer.
They paid me to say
That's
that.
a good answer.
No, I would say it's that initial phase, because as I say, everyone's going to show you an office and they're going to tell you you're going to love it, and they're going to tell you how easy it's going to be, and they all say the same things. But when I actually put in a request through the online form, which I have to say the tech for that is really, really good, and you filled in the form, and you actually got a reply from a human within 5 minutes. And then when you actually start chatting, you're like, well, I like 1, 10, and 11, and 12. And then Leo, I didn't know Leo at that point, will remove the other ones and replace it with things that like similar to those ones. It just makes it a hell of a lot easier. This is the co-founder. We don't normally let him do interviews because he acts like this.
So you say that you're the face of the business, is that what it is?
Well, even if I'm the face of the business, then there's both of us the face of the business. So yes, we take it in turns to be the face of the business.
So when you started, obviously we had that conversation quite quickly. How did you fully trust it? Because we had the conversation quite early on that working with one broker is the best way to go about doing things. Did that take any convincing, or was that quite apparent from the start, would you say?
No, it didn't take any convincing. It's like, for me, it's like Tinder. When you talk to one person, you only talk to one person. So I had Leo there, knew he was a Spurs fan, our interests aligned, and we were just good to go.
Are you hoping to find someone out of this interview?
Yeah. My fiance's at home. She's going, what the hell are you talking about? Don't worry.
But no, I think it's a great.
It's purely platonic.
Of course. But I think it's a really good point in the sense that we obviously spend a lot of time trying to explain the reasons as to why working with one person is a good thing. And like, I guess when you have that initial point of contact, like to you, we're just salespeople, and that's kind of what it is. So it's quite hard to trust a salesman straight away because you just realistically don't. And I think it takes a while to build that trust.
I agree, and I hate salesmen. So that was also the other thing that I was looking for. It wasn't sales. It wasn't like you will find an office, and as soon as you find it, you will pay. It's not that vibe. It was at the point when we find you something, be it on your first viewing or your 50th, which what Leo kept saying to me is like, we don't need to find anything now. If it's in a few weeks, a couple of months, it's no issue. And I kept saying to him, no, I want to find something because I just want to get it done. Yeah. He kept saying, no, it's not what we do. I can take you on as many viewings as you like, type thing, and you will find the space. And that was also the other thing that really attracted me to Kontor.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things. I remember we had a conversation when we saw this, and it was, yes, we really like it. Yes, we want it. This is us. And it was like, okay, let's sleep on it, because I think whenever you find something you like, you always need to sleep on it, because you could wake up the next day and think differently. Yeah. And if you wake up the next day and you still have the same opinion, then it's clearly a space that you're going to really like. So you've had to mull that over outside of work mode as well. So
that's true. Use Kontor. Not just that. I would say, I mean, my advice is to kind of have some sort of idea of what you want. Yes, you're going to be shown lots of options, and your ideas may change, but come with 1 or 2 things of something that you're looking for, whether it's something open plan, whether it's a location, whether it's a certain feeling. And I think if you give even one of those things to Leo or whoever that work for Kontor, I think they'll be able to find you the space that you want, but come with one leading thing that just is relevant to you, and you'll find something quite quickly.
And I think it's kind of adapting that as you go through the process as well.
Yeah.
So you can use that initial thing as like the stem of everything. And then, like you said, after that first lot of options went across, as soon as you show us the ones you like, we just kind of instantly know what that vibe's going to be.
Exactly.
So, I think from my perspective, for the same question, I think working with someone or a broker that I wouldn't say you're friends with, because obviously it is a working relationship at the same time, but someone that you get on really well with and you can trust it is
Makes a
a
difference.
salesman. I think it makes a massive difference both ways as well.
100%, for sure.